Hello everyone, today we are going to introduce a virtual simulator that we use for CentOS TCAD. Generally speaking, CentOS TCAD runs in a Linux environment, so its interface and operations are quite different from Windows. Since Windows is mostly based on a graphical user interface, we need to use a virtual machine to access and work within the Linux environment. The tool we are using today is called Hyper-V. You can find a shortcut right here on the desktop. I've already set it up for you, so you can just click it to get started. This will open the Hyper-V Manager. I have also pre-configured the virtual machine for you. The CentOS TCAD virtual machine is all set up. To use it, simply click Connect here, and you will enter the virtual machine to start using Linux. Our main focus today is giving you an overview of Linux and Hyper-V Manager. Let's start by clicking on Settings over here. This takes us into the configuration page for the Linux environment within Hyper-V. You don't actually need to change any of these settings. I just want to briefly show you how the hardware resources are allocated. First, let's look at the memory. The physical computer has 32 gigabytes of RAM, since it runs both Windows and Linux. We have allocated about 16 gigabytes to each environment. So the Windows host gets 16 gigabytes, and our Linux virtual machine gets the other 16 gigabytes. Next, the processor section shows the CPU core allocation. For storage, we are using a virtual hard disk. This virtual disk file is stored inside the Windows host system, and it takes up space on our main physical hard drive. Basically, anything you save in Linux will use up the computer's actual storage. Because of this, I plan to clean up these files regularly, at the end of every semester. Alright, that's a quick summary of the Hyper-V settings for Linux. You don't need to adjust anything here. It is just for your understanding. Now that we have covered the hardware setup, let's go ahead and enter our Linux virtual environment. To do this, select the virtual machine and click Connect. Once you do that, the virtual machine connection window will pop up. Let's click Start to boot it up. First, a prompt about checkpoints will appear. Just click Continue. Once it boots up, we need to enter the login credentials. The password for the student account has already been provided to you. My screen here shows teacher, but yours will show student. Let's enter the password. After entering the password, we will be logged into the Rocky Linux environment. First, let's look at the Activities menu in the top left. You'll see a few options. This first one is Firefox, the standard web browser for Linux. You can click it to open the browser and access the internet. From here, you can browse any website you need. Whether it's Google or other pages, it will load perfectly fine. Next to Firefox in the Activities menu is Files. When you click it, the File Manager will open up. As you can see, this interface is very similar to Windows. You'll find your home folder along with folders like downloads, pictures, and videos. This layout is almost identical to Windows. Moving on, you'll notice the terminal icon. We will be using this a lot. This is where we type in command lines. In Linux, we enter specific text commands and the computer executes them. To run calculations, let's look at the other applications under Activities. One important tool to highlight is the text editor. The text editor is like Notepad in Windows. In Centaurus TCAD, all simulation commands and scripts are written here. The computer then reads this code. To execute the semiconductor simulations, there are other options under Applications as well, such as Settings and Utilities. Under Utilities, you'll find various system tools. We often use the System Monitor tool here to check the workload of our CPU cores and track our RAM usage. Settings is where you find all the general configuration options. One useful feature is setting up different keyboard input methods. For example, if you need to type in Chinese for web searches, by default, Linux only comes with English enabled. You can add other input methods here. Just search for Taiwan. Select Chinese and you can add new Zhuyin or other keyboard layouts. Once you click Add, it will be ready to use. When switching languages, just click the input switcher in the top right corner. With that, you're ready to work in the main Linux desktop environment. That covers our brief introduction in this video to the Hyper-V setup and the general Rocky Linux environment. I hope this helps you get comfortable using this interface.